history. It shows you parts of history, but in a casual, fun way. So this is a long life, 90 years. So we wanted to do it in a casual, fun way, show you my mom's life. So you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Where's my drink?
We all need drinks.
This week on Drunk History, the life of Kay Forrester. Can you hear me, Mom? Okay, she can. Hi. Oh, I gotta get my. Oh, wait a second.
They're on your head.
We're off to a great start.
Hi, I'm Pat, and today my family and I are going to tell you about the life of my mom, Kay Forrester, aka Catherine Heekin, aka, or also known as Kay Heekin. She was born as Catherine Heekin on November 24th, 1926. Now, to set the stage here, the family that Kay was about to be born in lived in Maryville, Missouri on 815 North Main Street. That's right, folks, Main Street, USA. Yay. The family was already very big, 10 of them, and lived in a 3-bedroom house with parents William and Mary in one room, daughters and Marjorie and Mary B in another, and 6 brothers, Wilbur, Bob, Harold, Raleigh, Eddie, and Billy, squeezed into one another in a room resembling a dormitory room. It was a good thing that little Kay was a girl. There was literally no more room in the boys' bedroom. It was on Thanksgiving, November 24th, in 1926, when Mother Mary took a break from cooking Thanksgiving dinner to go into labor with her 9th child, Kay. Finally, after a long labor, little Kay was arrived, and Mary B and Marjorie had bundled little Kay up and put her in a clothes basket, and took her downstairs to present to the rest of the family, and said, "Here's the turkey." The family, delirious with hunger, almost forgot for a minute that Kay wasn't literally a turkey. With 11 now in the family, the Heekin dining room was a bit crowded, and little Kay, now being played by Jessica, had to spend a lot of time sitting on her father's lap. Besides eating at the dining room table, the family would play cards, do their homework, and when Kay's brothers were older, her dad gave them short after supper talks and to talk about some news item of the day. Yada, 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 the Great Depression stinks. No TV or Facebook, so kids listened to radio programs such as Little Orphan Annie and Jack Armstrong and I Love a Mystery, and some scary ones with creaking doors and breaking bones. To the south of the Heekin family house was Franklin Park. All the kids played there. There was swings, a big slide, a very long teeter-totter, and a push-type merry-go-round. There was a tennis court in the middle of the park where Kay's older brothers would sometimes play. It was amazing. For Kay, very online. For Kay, besides her family, she made friends with other kids too, and her dad helped with that. Kay's dad, William, owned and ran the Heekin Coal and Feed Company, selling coal for furnaces and selling feed to farmers. Anyway, customers would sometimes complain that their little girls had no one to play with. William would call on little Kay to pay a visit to these families. Kay was a little reluctant at first, but when she met Joanne Gillum, an older rich girl with every toy you could imagine, Kay was completely on board. After playing with Joanne for a while, Kay felt like a toy herself, especially when Joanne accidentally shoved little Kay into a box and then pushed her into the closet. Joanne laughed and said, "Oops, sorry about that." A traumatized Kay pulled it together with an optimistic attitude and said, "Hey, it's an easy mistake since I'm a living doll." Encouraged by her aristocratic mother, Joanne held Shakespearean plays in her backyard. Kay played along there and began Kay's love of acting. By playing such roles as Julius Caesar, saying lines such as, "Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears," as she laughed and tried to pull off both of her ears. As a teenager, Kay was popular at Maryville High School. Other students would say, "Hey, that Kay is quite the looker." Kay and her girlfriends were part of a popular crowd, called themselves the TNTs, and they posed for photos at the back of jalopies, and they cheered at football games as part of the cheering squad called the Spootherettes, named after the school's mascot, the Spooth Hound. Kay was in many beauty contests, but was always losing to farm girls. Her boyfriend was Ray, an older, healthy football player. All right, change the narrator.
After high school, with everyone out of the house, Kay and her mom and dad moved to Southern California. First to Pasadena, then to West Los Angeles. Restless, young Kay wanted to get away from her parents and pursue her passion for acting. Soon, Kay joined her sister Mary B. in Washington, D.C. Mary B. worked in federal housing. Kay got a job in steno pool there. At night, she pursued her passion for acting. In D.C., Kay joined the Jarvis Repertory Theater. Kay and a troupe of actors performed one-act plays around Washington, D.C. Kay had the main role in many of those plays. Later, that summer, Kay moved to Maine with other fellow actors for an internship program and performed in plays there, and Kay got the lead role for Emily in Our Town. Oh, Earth, you're too wonderful and for anybody to realize you. Do any human beings ever realize life while they're living? Every minute. Kay then heard that Fordham University in New York City was starting a new theater program. Kay applied and got in. So Kay moved to New York. It was an exciting time to be in New York. Kay got to see a lot of Broadway plays like Marlon Brando in Streetcar Named Desire. Kay worked in the mornings in a law firm, went to acting class at Fordham in the afternoons, and attended rehearsals there at night. While at Fordham, she would occasionally run into classmate Vin Scully, who would end up being an announcer and a voice of the Dodgers baseball. No romance for Kay and Vin, but a pal who Kay would occasionally play cards with. Again, Kay had a lead in many plays, but perhaps the highlight for the decade was when Fordham started a new FM radio station and Kay played Kate in Taming of the Shrew. What did we marry me to famish me? Beggars that come unto my father's door and a bunch of these and those. Here, hey, it's Shakespeare. You're snorting Kay hit the big time when a famous New York critic, Brooks Atkinson, reviewed the radio play and gave Kay a great review.
No, I can change the visual.
I think Tim played the drum part really well.
What are you trying to say?
Comes naturally, honey. A couple years later, in 1949, Kay, now played by Renee, was back in Washington, D.C., still pursuing acting, but also serving as a hostess at an officers club in Georgetown. While serving as a hostess, Kay was being asked out on dates constantly. She never felt so popular. But soon Kay, sick of men trying to talk more than her on the dates, told one of the other hostesses, "I think I'd like to meet a man like Gary Cooper. Handsome and says as little as possible." And that would come to pass, as one night in October 1949, a good-looking ex-Navy lieutenant named Bob Forrester showed up at a dance at the officers' club. Handsome but shy, Bob sent his buddy to check if Kay would dance with him. Kay said, yeah, I'm a hostess, that's what I do. So Bob asked Kay to dance. After dancing a few steps, Kay said, "Ow! Ow! You keep stepping on my feet. I thought you knew how to dance." And Bob told her straight up, nope. Kay laughed, appreciating Bob's odd sense of humor. Soon, Bob and Kay were on a whirlwind romance. And after meeting his large family, much like hers, Bob proposed on the third date. "You're the one, let's do this." Kay said, "Yes, oh yes," which made Kay run to the nearby phone and call another guy she was dating. "Hey, can't make it to the party tomorrow. I just got engaged." That guy was not happy. What the hell? But he didn't say hell. So, Bob and Kay got married on December 31st, 1949 at St. Matthew's Cathedral in Washington, D.C. The next day was the beginning of the 1950s, and soon Bob and Kay moved to Southern California. First to a Long Beach apartment, and then to a house in Lakewood, California. And Kay did what most women were doing in the 1950s, staying home and having babies. And Perry was born in 1952. And in 1953, Kay gave birth to Celia. Then, in 1954, Eileen was born. Kay and Bob took a 3.5-year break to take care of the first 3 children, but were back at enlarging the family when Tim was born in 1958 and Pat was born in 1959. Kay took another breather and gave birth to Bobby 4.5 years later in 1964. Soon, with 8 in the family and Kay exhausted from giving birth to so many children, it was time to move out of their small 3-bedroom, 1-story house in Lakewood and move to the country to uncharted territory in a place called Orange County, California. With a large 2-story house and an acre of land with dogs and kids and cats and kids and horses and kids and chickens and kids and a duck named Herman, Kay did her best as a mom, imparting wisdom and good sense upon her kids while cooking and cleaning and making their clothes, while teaching her kids to appreciate the arts by taking them to plays and then cooking and cleaning. And luckily, finally, the kids helped with the chores too. For fun, the family would pile into the station wagon and take trips to the mountains, the beach, and when the cousins came, it was Disneyland! As the years passed and the kids grew, Kay couldn't help to see she had raised a wonderful family, each smart and talented in their own way.
Once little Bobby was in school full-time, Kay, now being played by Caroline, realized she would not be able to stomach staying home and hanging out with the neighborhood wives and share gossip. Although she did have a very important job as a mother teaching her own kids, Kay decided she would go back to school and pursue a higher education and do something completely different, become a school teacher and teach other people's kids. So Kay went back to school, studied really hard, and got good grades. First, Kay received her bachelor's degree in history, her master's degree in theater, for the classroom and a teacher's credential. As a school teacher, Kay taught 5th and 6th grades in the Placentia, not to be confused with placenta, school in her first year, she got a rough bunch of kids. The parents felt sorry for Kay and even baked her a cake for her birthday. They were like, so sorry, so sorry.
That never happens.
Soon the kids learned to behave and Kay turned out to be an outstanding teacher, but later, a mean principal tried to get rid of Kay by giving her a first grade class, thinking that would make Kay retire. But Kay showed she was up for the challenge. Her first grade class was a great success. One of her students was very inspired by Kay when she told him that he had great potential. That young student grew up to be a newscaster named Peter Dowd, who now is seen on CBS News in Los Angeles. After retirement, Kay and Bob started traveling a lot. Oh, I'm sorry, switch Bob.
It is drunk history.
Yeah.
After retirement, Kay and Bob started traveling a lot. They had traveled to different countries before, and even traveled to Iran in 1978 when Bob Sr. got a job there, and little Bobby was still a tween when they barely escaped the Iranian Revolution and the rise of Ayatollah Khomeini. But it was more fun after retirement, and it really helped that Bob Jr. worked for United Airlines for 7.5 years and got them discount passes to countries all over the world. Sometimes they traveled alone or with Bob's brother and sister, but as the years progressed, they traveled with big tour groups and friends they made in the Osher Learning Institute and visited countries like France, Turkey, Japan, China, India, Israel, Morocco, Singapore, Nepal, Brazil, and so on and so on. 70 countries in all, you name it, they've been there. It was good for a while until Kay started falling. First, when running late and trying to catch the tour bus in Russia, Kay slid on the icy snow and landed by the wheel of the bus. With a straight face, Kay hobbled onto the bus and Bob was like, "What happened to you?" Kay didn't exactly enjoy the rest of the trip and hobbled and suffered through the next stop in Germany, like so many before her. Kay found out later she had severed a rib bone. But that didn't keep Kay down too long, and she was back traveling soon with Bob, But the falls kept coming. While traveling in Hungary, she slid down a hill and received 2 black eyes and looked like a raccoon for the rest of the trip. In India, Kay tripped down a cobblestone street and said, "Oh no, here I go again." After a few more falls, Bob told Kay, "Oh, for crying out loud, I think our traveling days are behind us."
While not teaching or traveling, Kay, now being played by Sarah, was a stay-at-home grandma and enjoyed greeting into the world Renee, and then Dylan, Jessica, Caroline, Sam, Sarah, and then finally Andrew. Phew. Kay loves being a grandma, but she and Bob agreed that it's so nice to enjoy them and not have to feed and bathe and take care of them. Been there, done that. By the way, she also welcomed into the family Tim's wife, Brenda, Harry's wife, Wendy, Bob's wife, Kate, Sylvia's husband, Tracy, etc. Then in 2009, thinking her traveling days were behind her, Kay was about to embark on a trip of a lifetime. But first, she got acquainted with something called Facebook in 2009 to communicate with her grandkids. While browsing and poking, she came across a Facebook group called Heekin Family Reunion. Then she saw a photo posted by a young man in Ireland named Seamus O'Boyle. Shout out. It was a turn-of-the-century photo of a bearded man and his 3 daughters. Kay recognized the photo from her family's collection as her great uncle Andrew and his daughters. Wow, what a memory. Soon, Kay and Seamus, who turned out to be a second cousin once removed, or something like that, were chatting on Facebook. Kay invited Seamus to California. Seamus, a father, was not able to travel because of his young children. So Seamus invited Kay to Ireland and suggested inviting other relatives to a family reunion. And with that, Kay alerted all the relatives in America, and Seamus alerted his relatives from the Heekin O'Boyle sides in Ireland and England. And so, with Seamus and Kay's amazing party planning abilities, many families members gathered in Ireland in June in 2010. First with a big party in Dublin at the Guinness factory, and then at Rusty Tavern in Teeland at the original Heekin homestead in Sleevely. Okay, that's...
Okay.
Now, back home, what happened to Bob? While Bob golfs or watches Fox News all day, Kay is on the computer playing games, emailing friends, or outside gardening, or asking her granddaughter to help on the computer, or instructing her granddaughter to garden, and trying to watch the hundreds of TV shows on her DVR. More importantly, Kay is now able to fully enjoy her very large family, which now includes Chris, Renee's husband, Anna Marie, Dylan's new wife, and their great-grandson, Emerson. Kay has to admit she has had
quite a wonderful life. Happy
Happy
birthday!
birthday!